Alright, let's keep talking about Wang Xifeng and Tu Ying's thoughts on her. They say Xifeng is a smart and capable person when things are peaceful, but a cunning and ruthless character in chaotic times. They even say that if Granny Jia hadn't retired, she would have used Xifeng's talents to her advantage. But Granny Jia just wanted to relax and enjoy her old age without having to deal with any problems. But what if Granny Jia hadn't retired? She would have surely controlled Xifeng, unlike Lady Wang and Li Wan, who were weak and foolish. It's like the weak Emperor Xian, 2nd century CE, of Han in the late Eastern Han dynasty. The empire was in chaos, and Emperor Xian couldn't handle it, so people like Cao Cao stepped up. I'm not saying that Cao Cao was a villain. Many people wanted to become kings or emperors. Cao Cao once said, "If I hadn't taken action, how many others would have tried to claim the throne?" The situation Xifeng faced within the Jia family was similar. Heroes sometimes have to be ruthless. Why did she use her power and ambition? Well, it's just a reflection of the times. I agree with this argument. Xifeng resorted to evil to fight against evil, to uncover the plots of treacherous individuals and seize power cunningly. It was necessary in the chaotic Jia family. It was a way of preparing for the uncertainties of the future, and that's why it's said to be a product of the times. Xifeng's tragedy is that she was born in a declining era, right? Birds are influenced by the times they live in. In such circumstances, if you want to show off your talents, sometimes you have to resort to evil. In today's China, if you can't play dirty, you shouldn't get involved in politics either. It's like the mindset of Zhuge Liang, 3rd century CE, before he emerged. He didn't seek recognition from feudal lords, but he wanted to survive in troubled times. I adopt that attitude now too. We can't become like Wang Xifeng. Becoming like her would also be a tragedy. Okay, let's keep going and see what Grandmother Jia is all about. She's got it all: grace, longevity, talent, and virtue. These 4 qualities are super hard to come by in life. Out of all the people in the Ning and Rome palaces, Grandmother Jia is the only one who has all 4. Her long life is really rare. She lived till 80, which was a pretty old age back then, you know. Most people say 70 is already quite the feat, so hitting 80 is like a special blessing. And let's not forget about grace. It's obvious that she's pretty generous. Even though the book doesn't talk much about her younger days, her last words were, "The heart truly suffered." Who was she talking to, you ask? It was Feng Jie. You are too sharp. You gotta work on building more grace in your life. When I was young, I had my fair share of being mean too. Those are some wise words, my friend. Feng Jie doesn't really get how important those 4 words are. You don't want to be the one suffering, right? So, she goes on to say, "Be kind-hearted and honest, your virtue comes through." From her final words, we can infer that she is indeed kind-hearted and honest, which is what we call virtuous. Now, let's talk about the other aspect. It seems like she had carefully restricted gambling in the palace, understood its implications, and after the government search and seizure of the family assets, she distributed the remaining funds, right? Everything was done in an orderly and systematic manner, which we can also call having all 4 qualities. Grandma Jia is one heck of a woman, you know? When we read the novel, we might just think she's an ordinary old lady, right? Always up for some fun and games, huh? Drinking, chatting, and even playing drinking games. She's got Feng Jie by her side, cracking jokes and all that. But you know what? She's actually wise. I gotta say, my evaluation of her is pretty spot on. Grandma Jia is the epitome of grace and sophistication. She's street smart, considers others 5 winning, but doesn't know when to back off or have any self-awareness. Grandma Jia knows that the family's decline is inevitable and unstoppable. She's fully aware of it and prays to the heavens, saying, "Let me take all the blame. Can you spare my future generations from disaster?" Now, that's some serious prayer, and it's all she's got left. She knows it, and I gotta say, it's pretty rare. She meets her end peacefully. Let's talk about how Tu Ying evaluates Pinger. He basically says that out of all the characters in Dream of the Red Chamber, Pinger is the only one who's got it all. Everyone agrees with this. She's talented, virtuous, and beautiful. Pinger is not just smart and talented, she's also good-looking and has great morals. Remember when she messed up the food she was preparing for Yo Erji because she knew that Feng Jie wanted to drive her to her death? That was a display of her virtue. Pinger knew that Yo Erji was in a tough spot, and she went against her mistress to secretly help her. That's some serious virtue right there. But you know, it's kind of dangerous for someone like Pinger to possess beauty, talent, and virtue, and still be subordinate to Feng Jie. Feng Jie, man. Serving under her can be risky. People appreciate Pinger's beauty, but Feng Jie just forgets about it. People acknowledge her talent, but Feng Jie forgets about that too. We've read up to the 55th chapter by now. Feng Jie keeps warning Pinger, telling her to not be so focused on her. It's clear that Feng Jie doesn't really understand Pinger. People appreciate Pinger's kindness and generosity, but Feng Jie just forgets about it. Feng Jie trades on her beauty and talent. What's trade mean? It means interacting with people. And why does she do it? Because of her beauty and talent. That's how Feng Jie operates. But man, she hates dealing with people based on morality. That's what she dislikes the most. She doesn't believe in it. And she doesn't want others to trade on kindness. So does she notice Pinger? Or does Pinger have the ability to make Feng Jie not notice her? Man, only someone like Pinger could get along a boss such as Feng Jie. When you come across a boss like Feng Jie, you can only get along with her if you're as good as Pinger. You gotta be so good that she forgets about you, forgets about your beauty, talent, and virtue. This evaluation is really interesting, man. It shows Feng Jie's character brings out Pinger's good side. It's the real deal. You can't serve Feng Jie unless you're a fully rounded person like Pinger. Let's take another look at Tanchun, according to Tu Ying's evaluation. He says, people who are approachable may not necessarily earn respect, and those who command respect might not be easy to approach. Isn't this usually the case? There are people who are adorable, but not everyone will hold them in high regard. And there are people who deserve respect, but it is hard to get close to them. It's really challenging to be both unique and practical at the same time. Tu Ying believes that Tanchun possesses this rare combination. He says, Tanchun's talent ranks between Lin and Shui, falling short of Feng and Ping. In other words, her talent is not as outstanding as Feng Jie and Pinger. It's not easy for her to shine, but she possesses the elegance and solemnity of spring and autumn, the harmony of precious jade and gold. She can be both gentle and firm. That's his evaluation. She has a blend of gracefulness and fluency, strength and elegance. I love her, and at the same time, I respect and fear her. And even in my fear, I still feel a sense of closeness. Tu Ying gives Tanchun extremely high praise. I have to respectfully disagree. This description also depicts Tanchun's unique qualities. So, I don't agree with the statement that her talent is lesser than Feng Jie and Pinger. How can someone with low talent handle the huge responsibility of bringing about reforms? Besides, Feng Jie's talent lies in pursuing personal gain during turbulent times, rather than attempting true greatness. The assessment in the book is spot on, describing Tanchun's intelligence, sharpness, and lofty aspirations, all within a declining era. The assessment precisely laments that she possesses great talent but was born in the wrong era. Tanchun was determined to bring about reforms but later realized that it wasn't feasible. Reform could only achieve limited results. Hence, she could foresee the future fate of the family. During that time, there were very few individuals with foresight like her, except Bao Chai.